Third time, same game. Or is it? Well, kinda. I mean, for those of you unaware, I have reviewed the 2 previous versions of Hyrule Warriors way back, and the most important thing to know is that the Definitive Edition is the 2 older ones, the Wii U game, the original one, and the 3DS one, spliced together. Now, if you have not played any of those, then do not worry. This review will be a complete blank slate. I will review this game as if it has never been out before. So, let's head straight into the story. The main campaign is really simple actually. An unknown army is attacking Hyrule out of nowhere, led by the dark sorceress Sia, who wants the Triforce for herself, as well as Link's D. I'm not joking, this lady is a massive fangirl, making Link and friends go on a journey to stop this evil lady, and the reason for her being a threat is that she opens several portals to the different timelines we fans are so in love with by splitting the paths into 3 Zelda games, Ocarina of Time, Skyward Sword, and of course my favorite, Twilight Princess. This is what was in vanilla Hyrule Warriors. You will also get the second storyline from the Wii U game that came in a patch a bit later, with Sia's tale following your journey and what happens just before the main campaign. And as this game has everything from the 3DS version as well, you will get the original character Linkle's tale and a Wind Waker story that takes place right after the narrative, giving you a real good ending feel to the entire legend mode. So there's a ton of story here. It's not the best written of course, but you know, content is content. I do have to admit that I would have liked to see a bit more from the villains. Yes, Sia's tale did scratch that itch for me, but it feels a bit less impactful than the 3 other routes. No cinematics, every conversation is over the gameplay stages, making it difficult to follow, as there is no real voice acting aside from the typical Zelda grunts. Ganondorf only gets like 3 stages, which feels like a missed opportunity. Plus, as the witch opened the portals to the different timelines, and there are Ganon-specific costumes from these eras, aside from Skyward Sword of course, imagine if the several versions met each other. I know it sounds stupid, but I mean, the main antagonist of this game has a hard-on for Link, so why not go all out? The story is not the main meat of the experience, nor should it be the sole reason for buying this game. I will say that you do get a lot of stuff though. 4 storylines, 2 from the Wii U, 2 from the 3DS. And after playing through Fire Emblem Warriors' narrative, I do prefer this one, as instead of just recycling events from the respective games that the characters are coming from, they are trying to do new interesting things with them, even though it's not as good as, you know, Zelda games. Though what it makes this Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition so fun is the gameplay, of which they have improved majorly from vanilla. What truly makes this game so fun are the characters and their movesets. It is pretty much the reason why I bought this game in the first place, as I never had any history with the Dynasty Warriors franchise before this. And as I said that we could play as fan-favorite Zelda characters, I was 100% in. So the gameplay worked by having combos made from the many light attacks to heavy attacks. The heavy attack differs depending on how many lights you do before. A special move, once you have filled up a gauge, some characters have also their own specific gimmick, like Link can end any combo with a spin attack, Zelda can fill up 3 light arrows, and Midna can grab enemies and infuse herself with darkness to do more damage. There is also a magic meter that puts you into a warrior state that improves all of your stats while giving you 2 special attacks depending on if you let the meter run out or push the special button. Every warrior also have their own skill tree to get everything from getting longer combos to improve their efficiency against enemy keeps, and that is important considering the main missions in these stages. Levels can hold many different types of missions, but most of them will have enemy keeps that will spawn monsters and improve the morale for the opponent. The missions can be everything from conquer every keep to defeat this specific character. There are also big Zelda monsters around that requires items to kill efficiently. What they've added from the 3DS game also is a major plus. You can actively switch your characters in-game, very much like Fire Emblem Warriors. You can command the other heroes through the menus as well, which is a ton of help. The NPCs isn't the best partner, but it makes it easier to traverse the stages. And as these stages can be massive in scale, the teleport move with the owl statues has also come over from the handheld game, making things just go so much faster. There are so much more to the gameplay that I could talk about, but one of the aspects that I did not take serious at all in the original game is the elemental weaknesses and strengths. Every character and many missions, etc. has a recommended element attribute to them, but the game never truly makes it a point to make it clear on how effective these are. So just for the fun of it, I did a little experiment. So I took my level 30 Midna, who is a darkness user, and fought another Midna. As you can see, she's not doing a lot of damage. Then I replayed the stage with Zelda, who has only half of the levels that the Twilight Princess had, with even a weaker weapon, and look at the difference. Okay, I was majorly angry at first when I saw this, as I remember just from the Wii U version that I spent so many replays on some missions that had like a recommended element and I didn't understand just how effective it was. But then I played Fire Emblem Warriors and I just loved the weapon triangle system, and I thought that they have learned from some mistake, but now that I know, there was no mistake. And I love it. What I also truly love is where you will spend most of your time with this game, the adventure maps. Okay, this is where you will spend hundreds of hours and still not be done. My god, is this game big. So the main thing here is that you will get several maps, some designed after the many Zelda games, with squares all filled with missions to complete. And what really makes it worth playing these is how you constantly get rewards, like new powerful weapons, new playable character, costumes, and Skulltula pieces that gives you cool artwork with new missions designed after the art. And I'm not kidding, you will constantly get new stuff. It's kind of insane. It really has an old school gaming feel to it and how you actually get cool rewards. They have also fixed on how you had to replay a mission several times to get item cards to open up the secrets on the map squares to be able to win these special things by having an item shop. Thank you, Koei. And if you have only played the Wii U game, many of these missions have changed completely as they've added the switch character mechanic from the handheld. What they also took from the 3DS is the My Fairy mode. It's kind of like a Tomodachi style fairy minigame, I guess. They do help you on the field with both passive effects and a fairy attack, but I don't really care for this one. Great that it's here, you know, more content is always nice, but really not for me. It is cool that you get to dress them up though, plus it creates even more rewards on the map, finding new clothing, food to level them up, and more. Finally, in the gameplay department, you do have the challenge modes. Again, not really for me, as it is focused on having the best score, but it brings, you know, more to the table. They are split into 3 main modes: battle challenges, boss challenges, and Ganon's Fury, which is actually a fun little experience worth trying out. Mostly focused on high score stuff, as I said here, but it is more content, and the gameplay is fun and addictive. How can anyone be negative with getting more? I just personally enjoy the adventure maps 100 times over. To quickly summarize what you will get here: Legends modes, where you will get 4 different scenarios, free mode with it, as it allows you to play as many characters in this campaign stages, adventure mode, where you get 9 massive maps with tons of rewards with an extra map after getting enough Skulltulas. Again, this is where you will spend most of your gameplay time. Challenge mode, which is all about them high scores. This place can get really difficult, hence the name. And finally, My Fairy, which is a fun thing where you can care for your own personal fairies. So content here there are in mass, but I've kind of already played through it all with these 2 bad boys, so why do I feel like this is still the superior version? Well, the presentation for this game is extraordinary, and allow me to go into the biggest selling point for me, a guy who has played this game twice already back in the past. 1080p with 60 frames per second. My god, does this feel good. I've heard that the co-op might lose some frames, but I don't have anyone to play it with, so single player content only for me. And I'm not complaining. Hyrule Warriors on the Wii U dropped so many frames constantly that it was difficult for me to replay it after having the performance mode in the Fire Emblem game. But here it is not a mode you select, it runs this way. I haven't had a single dip in frame rate and it feels so good. And when playing undocked on the Switch, it runs at a stable 30 FPS. Again, stable, meaning that having the game on a handheld makes it better than the 2 previous versions. It also just looks better, colors pop out more, the aliasing is improved heavily, making the edges not look like the edge of a saw like the original, and the rest of the presentation is just as good as I stated in my older reviews. But to quickly go through it, the music is godlike, the stages are all top tier, not a single one looked like a copy, which was a problem with Fire Emblem Warriors. What was a problem in that game was that many of the characters shared movesets. That is not a problem here at all. They all feel different and unique, and it looks so great on the Switch. I do have some nitpicks though. I still haven't reached my playtime to the same as the Wii U game, but I have already met with some glitches that the original game did not have, like Midna's here disappearing completely, having my game just crash out of nowhere, making me lose all of my progress, and some really weird issues where some stuff in the map disappeared depending on if I raised my camera or lowered it. There is also a real lack of character interaction that Fire Emblem Warriors had on point, so I do hope that they will add more dialogue between these lovable people in the potential sequel. The pre-rendered cutscene looks really bad, clearly not improved from the Wii U era, and the in-game ones have lost this thing where they change based on what costume you're wearing. Again, these are nitpicks. Though, as there are nitpicks, I do have some personal biased likes. The DLC characters now feel like they are part of the game, as they can collect heart pieces, costumes, and their improved weapons in the adventure maps rather than having everything once you've bought them. And that includes Twilly Midna. There are other differences as well, like it seems that they've improved cloth physics. I can't say for certain, but the way that Midna's robe reacts to movements look way better here than it did in the Wii U original. Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition was what I was hoping for when Nintendo started to talk about adding ports to the Switch. It was the game that I played the most on the old system, and it introduced me to the Warriors franchise. I'm not interested in playing of the Dynasty Warriors games, as I bought this one for the characters, but considering the amount of content here, I'll probably not need something in this genre for a long time. Which is why I will give this game a love letter out of Hyrule Warriors. I couldn't think of a joke with a name, so just take this, please. I know that I will spend so many more hours on this. I've already played it more than Fire Emblem Warriors, so I really like this one. And well, I'm happy with this port. Maybe a sequel soon, maybe with online, please. But until then, I'm KingJGrim, or the guy who's not forgiven Naruto yet, whatever you prefer, and I'll see you guys next time.